I feel like a machine sometimes. I'm just non-stop action figures.
What do you believe in? What you see, don't you know, looks could be deceiving. Investigate all of the news that you receiving. Cause corporate media will lie. Hope you wise enough to see them, they greedy. Now who do you...
YouTube, welcome back to another 97A Customs. Here we have Spider Knight, the comic style Spider Knight. There's two Spider Knights, if you guys don't know. There's a new one from the animated series. And then there's this one. I think they're going to come out with the new one. If you remember in the last video, I gave you a kind of a small list of what Spider-Man I think are coming out soon. And I think the new one's coming out just because they already have some action figures of them. This one I think is not coming out. It's a much older design, so not a lot of people are familiar with this. Even myself, I had to look through a couple reference shots online to see what I can use. And to be honest, I couldn't find anything. I couldn't find anything until after the custom was made. Someone on Facebook posted a picture under my post with the actual comic. It was called Spider-Man Fairy Tales issue 4. And I can show you the cover real quick. I ordered it on eBay, so it's not here right now. I wanted to wait till I actually received the comic before I did the review, but I just can't wait. So here's a picture of the comic. As soon as I get the comic in, maybe I'll update the review for you guys if there's anything in there that I find interesting. But in the comic version, you can see the shield was slightly different. I didn't know that at the time of making this figure. Had I known that, I would have definitely made the shield look more like the comic. Although there are people who say they prefer my shield versus the comic version. I just like anything comic accurate, so I would have went with that. I had to go off the mine with the shield. I like the design of it for what I had to freestyle it. I don't know what you call it for painting. Rap, it would be freestyling if it's not written. So I'm gonna call it free painting. Free time painting, I guess. I had no reference shots. I had nothing to look at. I just had to make that shield design myself. And I went with the two-tone. You can see, like most shields, they have cross colors like that. So I did that just to kind of, you know, I didn't even look up any shields or anything online. I should have Googled like a medieval shield just to kind of work off that. But I just free-handed everything on that shield, except the logo. I looked at the spider logo for reference, which looks like an ant. It has 3 hands. I got just some regular open hands and some whipping hands. And on the left, it's like a chain link chest armor that goes with Hawkeye. I just cut the 2 bottom straps off and then the waistband off and just kept the top piece. I was gonna use that originally before I was able to find this little thing right here. I was lucky to find that, to be honest. If you wanna know where this came from, this is actually a Magic card game figure. I don't know his name. I was lucky to bump into it at Burlington Coat Factory. In fact, here it is.
Well, I was supposed to be checking for Marvel Legends. I checked, they didn't have anything. I'm actually at Burlington Coat Factory. They have some toys here. They had Valkyrie, Thundra, and Blizzard for 10 bucks. Then they had these weird other toys. So I'm not sure what this is, but I think I'm gonna just take this little waistband and use it for Spider Knight, most likely. And the cape I could probably use for another figure eventually. For 6 bucks, you can't beat the figure. That's why I took this over a Marvel Legend. I figure I can use it for customizing. As long as I know that the accessory pieces come off, then I should be able to customize it. I'll take the pieces for farther parts anyway. This figure's horrendous. Is that like a card game? Magic the Gathering?
So yeah, I was really lucky to find that figure for that price. It was just what the doctor ordered. I only went out to look for Marvel Legends. My girl wanted to go shopping, so we went out and I was hoping to find something. And I found that. The figure was terrible, by the way. It broke apart within seconds. I tried to take the waistband off and I had to almost break it. The legs came off, the head came off, everything just fell apart. It came with a really cool cape too, so I might do something with that cape. I'm thinking like Cloak and Dagger. I'm not familiar with Cloak and Dagger, but that's the only thing I can really think of to go with that cape. Maybe like Spider Cloak or something like that. But let's pull this up. Let's stop talking so much. Now, if you guys are not familiar, this is a Whirlwind head. And I did paint inside if you guys really want to know. I painted inside of the cape. Let me take this off. This is a Valkyrie sword, by the way. I didn't seal it because I knew it was gonna paint rub. So I'm not done painting the sword. It still has a lot of work to do. Once I seal it, I'll find a better place to hook it. I won't put it in his belt. I'll probably just make an attachment to go right here. But the sword's cool. The shield, if you guys want to know, it's just a WWE shield. It's like this build your own. I don't know what it is. I'm not familiar with wrestling figures, but there's these like little packs you can buy for $5 and they come with different accessories. There's 3 of them. This one came with the shield, this fire stick I repainted, the torch, and then 2 other helmets, 2 like gladiator helmets. But this was perfect. When I seen the shield weeks ago, I was like, I'm gonna buy it, and I didn't. And then I went to Kmart again, and I saw it, and I just picked it up for $5. It was actually a great investment. At the back, I had to cut a little bit on the handle so it can fit. It would fit without cutting it, but I cut it just so it can fit a little better. I had to do a lot of modification actually to this, just so you can know it wasn't a repaint. Now, if you guys are not familiar with the body, this is a Taskmaster body. And this is a whirlwind head. I still have paint on my hand from this morning. I was painting this, so I didn't, I'm still fresh. But this is a whirlwind head, Taskmaster body. This is from the Black Spider Girl, Araña Corazon. Her hair, I just cut the hair off, and I sculpted a little sculpt to go with Whirlwind's, to go on top of Whirlwind's head. I sculpted it in and stuck it on there. I was gonna poke a hole inside the hair and then leave this articulated so you can be able to spin it around, but I wasn't sure that if I drilled inside the head, if it would have affected the face, because there's no head back here. You can clearly see that it's just a face. There's no head. What I had to do for this was modify this piece right here because it was flat and it wasn't fitting on the shoulders. So every time I would put it on the shoulders, it just wouldn't fit. So I cut it, painted it, sealed it, and then when I did all that, for some reason, it wasn't fitting again. And that's after I measured it up and cut it. So I was like, what? Maybe after I sealed it, this tightened up a bit and it wasn't flexible enough to push down. So what I did was just cut a little more, as precise as I can without, I think I cut myself somewhere, but as precise as I could without cutting too much. I did the open eyes here because I was going to also sculpt. Turn some of these off real quick. I was also going to sculpt. Turn this one off, sorry. I was going to sculpt white eyes, but I decided to just leave it like that because for the reference shot I was looking at, it looked more like this. There's 2 versions, one with eyes covered, like spider eyes, Spider-Man eyes. And then there's one with open eyes. But since Whirlwind already had the open eyes, I just decided to leave it like that and then paint the Spider-Man eye design over it. Now, for anyone who wants to know, this head is ridiculous. This was probably the worst Spider-Man head I've ever painted. It was so hard. I didn't have anything to look off. The pictures I did, but when you get to the back and to the side, it becomes a pain in the ass. This really becomes a pain in the ass. Because it has to go big, because you can't make it small. So I didn't know what to do. I was really lost. I messed up like 6-7 times. I was gonna do a tutorial, but I noticed I just kept messing up. I had to keep winging it, and it is pretty symmetrical, but it was tough. I'm not gonna lie. Most Spider-Man heads are pretty easy. When I do custom figures, I usually start with the head, and I move on from there. From here, I didn't. I started with the body first. And I moved my way up to the head. The head was the last thing I did. I knew the head was going to be a little difficult. So the head was the last thing I did. And I actually shaded the hair last minute. Originally, it was just all one color of blue. Now I ended up putting some light blue and some white in it. So it's very faint, but it's there. If you want to see what this would look like on them, I cut around it so the helmet could sit on top of it, because with that collar over it, there's no way to sit this helmet on it, so I had to cut around it. And it just gives them an extra little layer of protection if you ever wanted to go fight, or if you want to make them look slightly different. I think I'm pretty good at spider webs now. It's just I have one paintbrush I've been using for a very long time, and it's almost out of commission. It should have been out of commission a long time ago, but oh, by the way, I think this is pretty cool too. I started with, this was like translucent orange, and then this was like a goldish tan from factory. So what I did was I painted black for the stick, a whole coat of black. Then I dry brushed dark brown, dry brushed brown, then I dry brushed a little tan, and then a lighter tan. And that's pretty much the stick. Now I forgot to put some metallic on these cuffs, on these rings right here. I was gonna put some metallic gray, but I didn't, I forgot. And I sealed it, so whatever. And then for the fire, I just light coated black. It was still kind of translucent, and that's how I kind of liked it. So I had black over the translucent orange. Then I did a little bit of red, so I can get closer. Then I did a little red on the bottom, followed by some orange, which I mixed yellow and red. And then I did another shade of orange, which was like a peach. And then I went with like a yellow, like a banana yellow. And then I went with like this really dark lemon yellow. I don't know if lemon's the color I want to say, maybe like a dandelion yellow on top. And then once that was done, I went back to a little bit of orange and red, and I kind of just touched up on the side again because all the yellow kind of covered up a lot of the red. So I tried to give it a little orange hue to kind of blend it. I think it looks pretty cool. And it's pretty convenient for this figure, as a matter of fact. Hasbro needs to do like accessory packs. That would be great. I'm sure they would fly off the shelf. I'm sure people would buy accessory packs. And by accessory packs, I mean like generic guns and some hands, some swords, some cameras, little Coca-Cola bottles, mini comics, diorama pieces. There's a lot of things that the toy companies are kind of forcing customizers to make. And that's a beauty because it gives customizers the pleasure of having to make these things. These companies could produce these products really quick, and it'd be a lot more convenient for people to just purchase them. Because to be honest, the reason why people even customize, from my perspective, is two reasons. One, you're very talented and you're creative, and you're just a creative person and you like to create, and that's just your thing. And two, it's because you can't buy these figures at the store, so it forces someone to have to go customize them. And that's maybe the position I'm in. I may be like in the middle of both. I think that I like to create. I've always liked to create regardless. And then I can't buy these in the store, so it just made me want to try to create them. Now for Taskmaster, I don't know if you guys really know, but these hands easily pop off. Not so easy. Ah! So if you want, we can put it. I'm not here right now. I'm busy doing the video. Doing the video. Un video.
Please stand by for a brief intermission.
God, I'm having trouble.
We will have to take a break. But don't forget, subscribe,
in reality, you shouldn't
comment,
have as much trouble as
and like the video.
There you go, you sucker.
Thanks for watching another 978.
The hands fit perfect.
What do you believe in? What you see, don't you know, looks could be deceiving. Investigate all of the news that you receiving. Cause corporate media will lie. Hope you wise enough to see them, they greedy. Now who do you believe in? What you see, don't you know, looks could be deceiving. Investigate all of the news that you receiving. Cause corporate media will lie. Hope you recognize these demons. I gotta say I'm a believer, taking in what I'm told, but I'm breaking out of that mode, investigating what I don't know. Out here lately it's been coding, they talking how to control your guns. Colorado